Keep doing that. Just keep doing it. You can never do this too little. That's a completely, that's not the same guy that was in that video you sent me. That's a whole new way of thinking about how to hit a golf ball. Your elbows are close together. They're right in front of your chest. They never leave the front of your chest. Good. Rehearse. Okay, good. Rehearse. Good. Tee. Very good, Robert. You are a little taller than me. No way I can hit this one. I probably look kind of cramped and crowded. When I look at you, you look cramped and crowded. At least six inches further away. So I'll be about right there. For me to, now, I just have a little, you don't want blocked knees, you want a little flex. But one of my tests, first of all, my triceps are sitting on top of my chest. They're not on the sides of my chest. So let's make sure that we have our triceps sitting on top. When you do that, that automatically sets the hand a certain distance from your waist. Now, in order to get my hands here, I almost have to slide those to the sides a little bit. So now I want you to let your right hand go dead length. Just let it fall on the floor. Okay, good. So I want your hands on a grab. When it falls, I would like to see it fall and stay on that same line. If it's fallen in too much, then it means your hands are too far away from it. If it falls away from it, that means your hands are too close. So I want your hands to basically grip the club on what I call the gravity line. So now you could be relaxed and not have to pull them in or push them out for these shots. So that kind of, you can use gravity as a measuring device, making sure your spacing is the same every time. If you're new, so you just give yourself a little bit more space. Okay, good. You're just hitting it with that right hip. Boom. Boom, right there. Good. That's the one I want to see right there. Good. got to put a little bit more angle in your spine. Got to get that shoulders more in front. That's it. Good. Good. A little punch right there. That's all I want right now. Good. You hit for this drill. That's the best you hit for the drill. That was perfect. Exactly what I would like to see it. 1,000 pounds. All those are good. All those are very acceptable for what we're working on. You're making some fundamental changes in your golf swing. One is you're not back in here. You're up here where it should be. Where this left arm is much more on that shoulder bone. But more important, you are correctly moving your lower body into the ball. Letting that right hip, right side, fire that right hip right there. That'll do it. And that's what allows your hands to be quiet and controlled, effortless. When you put all the pieces together, the thing just doesn't leave that pole. I mean, you're within 5 yards of that pole every time. Your wrist and don't move this way. They move this way. And in the backswing, you are correctly. Just hands up off to the right side. So when I on my backswing, the toe is kind of going up. I want the toe to go up on the follow through. So when we get over here, we don't want to be going this way with it. That also can force this to set the move off. But the only way you can really hinge it upward is keep your elbows close to each other. Just gets away from it. You can't use the proper hand. You'll end up just pulling both hands to the left instead of rehinging upward. So let me see you just do this reversal move where you go hinge it up, hinge it up. It's almost like I'm going to point the club down to the ground. I'm going to swish through in front of me, and I'm going to point the club on the other side down to the ground. And then rehinge on the other side. Perfect. Good. The follow through is, in fact, you'll see one of Tiger's new moves now is he'll be in this really bent here, straight arm here, but he's not all folded over around his neck. He's more compact. And then rehinging up. It's not going over here behind us. It's going up. It's going up. Okay, so what I want you to do, I'm going to do it first. I want you to hit a couple of balls flat-footed. See what you're focusing. We're going to isolate the hands right here. It's hard to do this move here if this is separated. You almost have to keep your elbows somewhat close together to do this move. A little thin, but club face is square with some speed. You don't even look like you're doing it. You look very relaxed. Everything looks simple. I mean, your swing looks so repeatable now. There's just not a lot going on here. A good golf swing has a look of simplicity. And you're just bombing that pole. Oh, that's beautiful. Good contact. You have started a little bit of
of rocking to the right foot a little bit. And that's why you hit some shots bang.
Okay.
So you need to do a couple rehearsal swings where you really feel like you stay stable on the left side while you incorporate this right hip drive. That's better. Because if you drift to the right, your low point moves to the right. And that makes it harder to get back. Sometimes you drift to the right and got back to the ball and didn't have a problem. Sometimes you didn't. But it's an added piece that you have to try to coordinate. So try to feel all this new stuff, but also feel the backswing takeaway. Stay stable on the left. Oh, I tried the 9 iron.
Yeah, I was like, that pitching wedge far.
Try the 9 iron. That's even a good 9 iron.
That's a beautiful shot. The wind's pushing that, not you. That was right on top of the cart when it started out. Beautiful. Beautiful, Robert. That was simple, wasn't complicated. Oh, everything about that was good. That was pro-like there. All right, let's fix that.
We just need with geometry, the ball start a little right and curved right, so I know that the face was a little too open, and I know the path was left where the face was pointing. So the path. So I want you to do some drills, what I call tap drills. I just want you to tap the ball. I want you to keep your feet very close together and just do a pure turn. I want your right hands to go. You really feel like you're swinging around your body in a circle. Yeah, more of a circle like that. And just don't swing any harder, but just try to hit the ball with that movement. That ball won't go 50 yards. You just try to copy that movement. Super inside. Good. Super inside. Same drill. Just keep doing it. Your subconscious mind will find the ball in a minute. Just want your conscious mind taking your right hands right by your right pocket. Upswing, up and downswing. Hit it hard. You gotta hit it hard from that spot. Love it. I thought that get to the inside so you have Robert.
Praise baby Jesus.
I like that one. You showed some confidence with that one to really hit out on it without the fear of it going right. Nice high draw. We need to swing out because when you hit up on a ball, which is optimal for distance, you actually are, the sweet spot is actually moving left. It's not helping you swing out. So you almost have to have your swing plane, your swing direction a little to the right, more so than an iron, to offset the leftward movement of the sweet spot because you're swinging up. For every degree that you swing up, the path is moving 1 degree left. So you have to offset that.
Let's do some exaggerated. I'm going to really take it in. I'm really going to coil. Okay. Look like Matt Cooper. Whatever you did that one. Whoop. You just had more willpower on that. Bang. A couple more, then I'll recap what we've done today. That last one was perfect. Your foot slipped a little bit, but you hit it good. Now, on the drivers, I'm going to kind of work backwards. I had you hit, I saw pin it a little too low, and I saw the ball starting a little to the right and curving more right. And some of that curve was path related. So in my judgment, the reason for the missing right was more path related. I had to change the path. The path was to the left of where your face was pointing, and I've got to get that path to the right of where that face is pointing. So this is an out to in to the path, and I needed it to be in to out to the path. In order to have more out, you have to have more in. So all we did was focus on this right pocket. Just go right, both hands just face. In order to do this, you can't sway. You can't go back here and also go in here. It also, just one thought, also had you have a good coil. You really turned your shoulders. Boom. Because you weren't just doing this, you were turning and staying here, staying between your feet. And there was none of this going on, which is a contributing factor to slicing. So you're just making a much better turn and a much better arc. And now you're in here and able to swing out. So now your path is out here. Now, sometimes you had the perfect path, but your face was fluctuating a little bit. Sometimes the face was here and it had a nice draw. Sometimes it was right, it was the same as the path, and therefore it was a straight right push. And every once in a while you might even had your face a little bit to the right here. So the face can be fluctuating and cause different fluctuations of ball flight. But the important thing is your path got pretty stable. It was pretty much going up. If this was the target line, and there was a TrackMan here, the kind of numbers it would give me might be a plus. An ideal path is probably 5-6 degrees to the right of target line. That's an ideal path. And so if this is the path, then we need that, I want that face to fall somewhere between the target line and the path. So you can be 1 degree, 2 degrees, 3 degrees, 4 degrees. Anywhere in there that face can fall at impact. And it's always going to produce a leftward curve if you hit it solid. On the irons, the thing that I arrived here today, I had a kind of a game plan for what I wanted to make sure we accomplished today. And I had planned on having to work on something that you worked on yourself, and that was this movement right here, this right hip. You immediately were doing that, so you've done a lot of work on that
making sure not to be doing this, but turning through. You changed your setup, you changed your posture. So you did that before I arrived. I thought I was going to have to do that myself. We'd have to work on that from the get-go. So you did an excellent job of that. I kind of changed the spacing a little bit, but you did the bulk of that work. That was excellent. And we did a lot of little drills, just keeping it simple. Just keeping it, everything was simple. You were just nailing everything. Did a small little adjustment in your left hand toward the end of the iron work, but basically we just repeated over and over getting this groove. It'll be really interesting to see the video as compared to what you sent me. I'll do some side by side of you before and you now. That's going to really look good. I just know it will. We did a little bit of, and you said it was kind of a new feeling, this rehinge, because you were experiencing every once in a while you'd feel this left elbow kind of, and that comes from the hands doing this instead of this. This here doesn't. It's hard to do this if this is going like this. So the rehinge is a common way of releasing that club. Putting, you made a grip change there. You made a stroke change. You went from kind of a long with a slow tempo to a little bit more of a short, long, a little bit shorter than your other one, but more speed in between those 2 points. And that grip change, I think, will really pay off.
This is what it was, right?
That's it. Reverse overlap. Perfect. And you're not putting the finger down the shaft either. That's what I like also. Most of the pros will have, just like you do, thumbs up right on top of the grip. That's why that putter is designed with that flat top for your thumbs. Perfect.
Okay, on the left, Robert, was your swing that you videotaped, and I've drawn those red lines framing your head along the angle of your spine. And we're going to take a look at, first, it's obvious that you are tilted much further over on the left, and you're much more upright on the right. I mentioned that you may have actually overdone it. Your position on the right actually should have the arms away from the body a little bit, create a little bit more space between your hands and your legs. Ideally, we like about a hand's width. If you were to open up your hand and touch your thigh, that the width of that spread of the fingers would be about the space you want between the butt end of the handle and your legs. So it's a little tight, but it's a lot better. We're going to now take your golf swing into the back swing, and on the left we'll do that one first. You start to pull up here. And when your hands are about waist high, you can see how you've pulled your spine up quite a bit. Your spine is basically straight up in the air here. Let's look at your swing on the right. Keeping that head pretty good right there, and your spine is much more still maintained a pretty good tilt there. Head is between the lines, so you've made a big improvement there. You can see how, I'm going to take you through a little further, you can see how you've turned your hips a lot more on this right swing than on the left swing. Very good. Robert, this is a still shot of you in the setup position with your new setup and posture. I've got Rory McIlroy on the left, and you're in a much better position than you were a couple weeks ago. I've drawn a straight line down to the ground, 90 degrees to the ground, starting at the middle of the shoulder, and you can see how Rory his hands are hanging right on that line. In fact, the hands are slightly forward of that line. And I've drawn a blue line across the top of his right leg and the shaft of the club right up to the butt end of the club. And you can kind of see how much space there is between the club, the butt end of the club, and his right leg. It's hard to see your blue line. It's there, but they're right next to each other. So you've got your hands and the butt end of your club very, very close to your right leg. And I really would like to have more space. And then when we look where your arm is hanging from your shoulder, it's well inside of that red line. So I really would like for your arms to swing out a little bit more, and that'll be helpful in your I've got another picture I'm going to show you in a minute where the swing plane is a little too upright, and it's forced to be upright when the ball's in close to you like that. If we can get that ball a little bit further away from you by tilting a little bit more, that'll also improve your swing plane, but it also makes it easier when your hands are a little bit further away to have a little bit more space between the hands and the leg. It's a little bit easier to make the proper hip turn under the spine without having to straighten up. This here shows the dramatic improvement that you made in your setup, and now you're here in the fourth position, and on the left was what you sent me a few weeks ago, and you can see how low that left arm was. The red line is running along the arm line, the blue line is on your shoulder line, and you can see how flat you were. And look at that position now on the right. It's just almost perfect. If anything, your left arm may be slightly too high. But that is just a small thing that has to be adjusted now. You made a dramatic change, and that's really good. So you're well on your way to having a really good setup, a really good geometric golf swing, just like the pros have. Here I have you compared to Grant Wade in the 4 position. Again, the red line is very similar to yours. The hands are right above his back foot, just like yours are. So you have a lot of similarities in your 4 position now. The top of your backswing is loaded and ready to go. Downswing move to Grant. Your top of your 4 position here is excellent compared to what it was a few weeks ago. That left arm is right on the shoulder line. It's slightly above the shoulder line now, whereas before it was too far below the shoulder line. It actually may just be a fraction too high, but certainly a much better position than it was. I want to look at the shaft position on the downswing, and I'm going to move Grant first. As Grant comes down, the ideal angle that we want that shaft, we want the shaft when your left arm gets parallel to the ground. So this hand right here is even with your shoulder. We want this shaft from this camera angle to be right on your right bicep, so that as we look at the shaft, it's going across between the elbow and the bicep. That would be the ideal angle for that shaft as we approach the golf ball. And so as I take you down to that same similar position, you can see how your shaft is actually a little above the shoulder. So ideally, I would like to have this shaft more in this angle right here. So it's right between right between the elbow and the bicep. That would be the proper shaft angle as we approach the ball. You're almost too upright here. But
so that will be a small little tweak that you can work on a little bit. When you videotape your own swing, then you'll want to continue to work on this, creating this picture on the left that Grant has. Now, as I continue down, a second checkpoint on a good shaft angle is that when we would like for this shaft also, when it's to be right on the forearm. So when the hands get a little bit below the waist, that shaft runs right along and parallel to the right arm, the forearm between the elbow and the hands. So that's a perfect position right there that Grant's in. And so what that means is this angle here would be where we would want that shaft. But we would want that aiming to the golf ball. And so your right arm approach right there, now your right arm is dropping a little bit. So you can see how your shaft is basically going too straight down this way, and it needs to be coming out this way. Now, if we could get that ball a little further away from you and tilt a little bit more, it'll make it easier to create this angle. The more you bring this ball this way, the more up and down you have to be with your club. And the more you get the ball out this way a little bit, then the more your angle can be out a little bit like this. So your setup is still a small issue where I'd like for you to tilt just a little bit more, let those arms swing away from your legs just a little bit more. In order to do that, you're going to have the ball positioned slightly further away from you. This will make it easier for you to have the correct swing plane, the correct tilt in your hula hoop, so to speak,